everyone, Erica Bluford here. I'm so glad that you could join me for a little TLC. For the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about friendships, and last week in particular, Bradley and I talked about opposite sex friendships. Can men and women just be friends? Hopefully you've watched that by now, but if you haven't, I'm gonna leave the link below so that you can catch up. I was thinking about it and I realized that Bradley and I are both single, so there might be a perspective that we were missing in our video about opposite sex friendships. So this week I have enlisted the help of several married folks that I know to give some advice on whether they think men and women can be friends when you are married. So y'all, there is a lot of wisdom in this video, so I hope that you will watch, comment, and let me know what you think.
Hey Erica, it's Alisa Trotter.
Hello Erica, it's David Trotter. How long have we been together?
32 years.
Yeah,
We'll be celebrating our 30-year anniversary on July 28th, so we look forward to that.
I am Carvell.
Hi, I'm Natasha.
We have been married soon to be 3 years this upcoming September, so about a month and a half left until we get to that point.
Hi, I'm Hope Miles.
And I'm Vernon Miles. We've been married for 31 years, but we've been knowing each other for 37 years.
My name is Brooke Daye.
Orlando Daye.
And we've been married for going on 5 years and together for 13.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
I'm Sabrian.
And we have been together for 3 years and been married for 1.
Okay, my name is Eric. We've been together been married 21 years and been together how long?
We've been together since September 27th, 1991.
Wow.
That's when Eric asked me to be his girlfriend, even though he thought that we were girlfriend and boyfriend before then, but he had asked me, so yeah. So September 27th, 1991 is when we started dating. So that's 29 years, or maybe 28.
28, okay.
Yeah, 28, 29 years. My name is Keisha Harrelson. Just kidding. My name is Keisha Bluford.
I am Jessica Watkins,
I'm Brandon Watkins,
and we have been together for 10 years.
married for 5.
Yes.
I think it's possible. Sometimes it's difficult, but it's possible.
Yeah, I think they can. Yeah.
I agree. I think that men and women can just be friends.
Yes.
I think they can be just friends too. I do think that it just kind of depends on what your definition of a friend is.
Yeah, so is your definition of a friend somebody you have to see often? Do you have to have their phone number type thing? Or can it just be, in today's age, can it be more social media related as to how you interact? Or again, do you have to meet up, want to go shopping, exchange secrets and things of that nature? So that's one thing we discussed. What's the true definition of a friend? Yes, I think so.
Yes, I think men and women, single men and women, can be friends.
I do. I think that as long as you know what the relationship is defined, it's just that, yeah, they can be just friends.
And I would have to agree. I think that men and women can just be friends. I think it's all about knowing what the boundaries are and just respecting and honoring those boundaries.
I think I can answer for both of us. We think that it is very possible for men and women to just be friends. Having a friend that is the opposite sex is very possible. It all dwindles down to respect for your spouse and also respect for yourself. Along with that comes having a good friend that is of the opposite sex that, isn't trying to use you for anything. You have anything to add?
Just piggybacking off you, I do believe that friends of the opposite sex can just be friends. Of course, there's always, when there's a spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, however you want to look at it, when they are involved, that typically allows for, you have to have boundaries, point blank. But I do believe it is possible that they can be friends.
Knowing, that it is just that, and things such as like, you don't text over in the middle of the night or anything like that. You keep it, to where there's it doesn't even look like anything is incorrect, so that's yeah.
So, and I know that you do have friends of the opposite sex, and I think that you're very respectful of our marriage and our dynamic and what boundaries we have established for ourselves. And so, I think that you do a very good job at balancing all of that and not creating those ambiguous situations that make someone wonder or make someone have red flags or get jealous. So I also am aware that several of his friends that are women have been around since well before I showed up. And so for that reason, their dynamics are a lot different from our dynamics. And I treat them all the same, whether or not they were here before I was here or after, because, you make friends at school or at work or things like that. And so, again, they're all just friends, and so they're all treated the same in terms of in my point of view. What about you?
Yeah. Let me say this first. Our situation is a little different because Sabrian is from Georgia, so I haven't met a lot of her, male friends other than like when we went to homecoming or something like that at school. Mm-hmm. But Sabrian has met most of my female friends, so I think it's easier to kind of like see, if you see the person, that they know that it's just that. So yeah, but as far as Sabrian goes, I do know she has male friends, obviously. I don't see it as an issue. It doesn't, make me jealous or anything. She is very like, if she's texting one of them, she might tell me about the story. A lot of times it's something funny or whatever. She'll tell me about the story, and I do the same thing. I don't, hide anything. We don't go through phones, but if you wanted to, you could look at, what I have. So yeah, that's.
I say yes, but again, it comes back. One thing we talked about was who we consider our opposite sex friends per se. I have opposite sex friends, but I don't have their personal cell phone numbers. So we may interact through social media, but that's pretty much it. Or in passing, things of that nature, a coworker, colleague, something of that nature would be my classification of my opposite sex friends.
And I agree. I don't really have any opposite sex friends that I, get up with, go to dinner with, go out of town to see. I don't. But as far as like interacting through social media, the people that we, friends that I have from college, I talk to them and keep in touch on social media. But like he said, nothing as far as like having each other's like personal cell phone numbers.
Okay. So yeah, I have friends of the opposite sex that I consider my close friends. You had some really close friends in college, of the opposite sex. I think it worked because we introduced each other to those friends and included, so like whenever I was around them, they included Orlando and I included him. And yeah, they became his friends, and the girls that he was close with became my friends.
You have to be very transparent with your relationships.
No.
Yes.
Well, we have friends of the opposite sex, yes. But we don't have like a best friend. where we hang out one-on-one.
Yeah, that's right. We normally, the friends of the opposite sex, we hang out together. We go together like out to eat or something like that.
It's normally like a couple.
Yeah.
Like, we both have friends of the opposite sex, which are mostly couples, people that we know together, friends that, you know, have kind of, we've gotten to know either through church or some other kind of activities that we're involved in. So we both have mostly mutual friends, right? But I would say that I have more just friends of the opposite sex. I have more, I have some guy friends.
Oh, yeah?
And you know I have some guy friends. Eric doesn't really have girlfriends, friends of the opposite sex, I don't think.
I know. I mean, yeah, not like friends, acquaintances, people you work with and stuff like that, but like somebody that I'll be like talking to, texting and stuff like that, yeah, I don't, yeah.
Nobody that he would call. So, yeah, nobody he would call and say, this chick is my friend. Yeah. But I might say this guy is my friend.
Yeah, a little stank on that.
Yeah, a little stank on it because at least I don't know anything about him, but I'm just saying. I believe that it's important to, you know, be transparent about your friendships. My friends are Eric's friends. They know that, I mean, there are no friends that I have to run out of my room when they call me and I have to answer my phone in the bathroom. Eric can have my phone. He knows all my passwords. He knows my Facebook passwords and things like that. If anybody comes at me incorrectly, I tell it. And that has happened before, and I do tell it if they hit me wrong or whatever. But the bottom line is, even with our friends of the opposite sex, like there's some expectations that I wouldn't have of them. My girlfriends, I might plan a girls trip with them, but as far as guys, I'm not gonna plan a trip with me and my opposite sex friends. Generally, I won't be alone with my opposite sex friends. I mean, if they have an emergency or something like that, yes, I'm going to pick them up. Likely, I'm going to call Eric and say, oh my God, such and such happened. I'm on my way to see this person or on my way to help them. I remember Martin, who I was very, very close to. I would go visit him and things like that. I could pick Martin up. Oh, am I hitting the table? Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That's somebody I would pick up or whatever, but he was my friend, yeah. But you know, we would be talking to Eric while we're riding or whatever. Or he would have the kids. It's just, I don't know, just to make sure there's no issues. My friends know about my husband and they know how I feel about my husband, and prayerfully people respect me enough not to go there. But if they don't, I'm offended and I'm telling.
Exactly. Just tell them.
And I think you can. I personally just don't. And it has nothing to do with me being married or not being married. I just so happy don't have friends of the opposite sex that I consider to be friends.
And I agree. I agree that I have friends of the opposite sex, and I think you can, and I think married people can, but I think your best friend should be your wife or your spouse.
And the reason why he thinks that, tell him why you think that, Ron.
I think that because usually you confide in your best friend, or you tell your best friend anything that's really important to you, you're gonna tell your best friend first. And so I think it will be awkward to tell your best friend and your best friend not be your spouse. And I think that creates a situation. So that I totally agree that you can have friends of the opposite sex.
Yes, I do too.
For me, or for both of us, I guess I can say since we've been married, there has been no friendships of the opposite sex that has started. Prior, we both have had friends of the opposite sex. But I guess, with us having those good friends of the opposite sex, out of respect, they have sort of distanced themselves. Not because anything shady was going on, but just out of respect. We don't want I'm pretty sure they, and then we also don't want anyone getting any random ideas or random conceptions of anything shady going on. So
my only new friends of the opposite sex are his friends.
I guess I can say the same. A lot of my friends of the opposite sex are really good friends of Tasha's, and we all get along, we all hang out together, and it's always a good time. So yeah.
My friends, the people that I consider kind of friends, they've been around for a long time, either from school or from church or something like that. The friends that have recently developed, I believe they are our mutual friends.
Yeah, I would say
I can't think of anybody else that's not like a mutual friend. I developed friendships and stuff through my law practice. Like Alex, my colleagues and things like that, who I do consider, somewhat of friends. But they also become my husband's friends, and so we pretty
Larry
cool. Brown, the judge, is my friend. But we all behave like friends and family. Yeah, so I guess we pretty much have mutual friends for the most part. Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah, I would say.
Do you have any other friends that I don't know about?
Huh?
Do you have any friends that I don't know
No,
about?
I don't.
Okay, all right. So, just checking.
They've been around for a while.
Yeah.
So at least, 10 or 12 years?
Yeah. At least 10 years. But their friendships aren't more new than our relationship. Like, we were in a relationship first before we met best friends.
Right.
Yeah.
I would say it does make a difference. If I was looking at personally my best friend, who is a male, of course, and pretty much I feel like a best friend knows pretty much everything about you in terms of just everything that's going on. You could confide in a best friend. You would do things in a best friend, such as example I used was if they was throwing a party, my best friend was throwing a 30th birthday party, I would do my best to try to make it. If my friend was throwing a 30th birthday party, I mean, it kind of sounds bad, but I don't know if I would be as obligated to try to make it. Really based on our current lifestyles, work schedules, family life, things of that nature. I just feel like you would go a little bit above and beyond for your best friend versus a friend.
And I'll just add something about the married piece we actually talked about, is that we just think it's different, being married. In our marriage, we don't get a lot of breaks. So if the opportunity presents itself for us to go to dinner or go to a movie or anything like that, he would be the friend that I would choose to go to do that with. If I had an opposite sex friend and they wanted to, I guess I would end up choosing Brandon to go with. And, being busy, married with kids,
professional life,
that's really not on the priority list for us. I think it would make your spouse jealous if you had a best friend and then, like I said, you told them things that before she knew it or before he knew it. Then I think that would make them jealous because they don't have the first place, with you.
I agree.
You agree?
It's all about. I see nothing wrong with having friends of the opposite sex. I see nothing wrong with having friends of the same sex, but you still have to have who is your number one, who's the person you go to first when you have issues going on. When I have issues going on, regardless if it was a guy or a girl, they don't come to my mind. Well, who comes to my mind is Vernon, because Vernon is my best friend. So I want to go and I'm going to talk with him with everything. If I have any issues, anything that's going on, or how my day is going on, or if I just need to throw something, run it by him and see what he thinks about it. He's the person that comes to mind, more so than a friend, whether it be a male or a female. All right.
Great. But I'm also number 2 to your children. I'm number 2 to Brooke and Haley and Nick now. So sometimes, but I don't have a problem with that because Then you may tell them before you tell me, but I'm cool with that.
I do
No
do
problem.
that sometimes, but that's my youngest.
I know that's your kids. But your kids, but it's good though. Your kids become your friends, and that's good. And sometimes they're.
Now, we're my friends when they were young now. I was
No.
mama when they were young, but we all friends now, yes.
Yeah. And I'm fine with them.
I'm still mama, but you know what I'm saying.
I'm fine with you. The kids move me out, but nobody else.
Okay, that's good. All right.
They're not my best friends. Orlando is my best friend. And then I have a group of girls or a couple girls that are my best friends. But I wouldn't, to me, your best friend is like the first person you call when something happens. And that's always been Orlando. Or my mama.
Okay.
Or your girlfriend, your best friend?
No, they're not my best friend. I only have one best friend. It's my wife.
Sure.
I've never had a best friend, so my answer to that is no. My only best friend is my wife, Tasha, and that's been the only best friend I've ever had. I've always had good friends, but the quote-unquote best friend is that one right there.
Stolen title. And opposite sex best friend is right here for me. He is my go-to about everything. Yeah. As cliche as that sounds, he really is.
Go ahead.
Yes, it makes a difference. It makes a difference, yes. I can't see that. I can't see a opposite sex best friend. When you put best on there, that's a pretty that's a pretty big word right there. Cause you saying that you're having conversations and stuff like that with that opposite sex friend that you likely might not have with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing things with the opposite sex friend that you're likely not doing with your spouse. So I don't see how that can actually happen if it's not like a mutual thing. Like if all of y'all are not doing those things or having no conversation together. So I think it's kind of hard for a opposite sex best friend. The only way I see that can even remotely happen is if this person has been in your life way before you even met your spouse.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And even then, your spouse knew about that before y'all got together, before you got intimate or decided.
Intimate.
Intimate,
Oh, what you thinking about?
Strike that. Strike that from the record, please. Before y'all decided to become husband and wife or girlfriend and boyfriend, both of y'all knew about that opposite sex friend. I think that's the only way that can happen, but it's still, I think that's still a hard thing to. No, it can't happen.
So you came back to no.
Yeah, came back to no. Yeah.
Okay, so
I tried to talk my way around it, but I just
like if it was a friend that I'd had, and it's just, I think that what you were saying, I think makes sense, because if it's a best friend that I've always had, and we never developed anything other than a friendship for years since like a childhood or high school or something like that, then it's likely that that's all it is a friend. So I could see where you were going, but I think that it should transition once you decide to marry somebody. I think that it would be weird if you would call another woman your best friend. I think that would would be an issue for me. I didn't need to be friends. I'm not even gonna start out saying yes. I was trying to say I can see where you might say that, but I think that it would give both of us an issue. Eric is my best friend. Now, in saying that, I do have what I call my girls. I have my children who I can talk to about most things. I have my mother who I can talk to about.
Your children are.
My children are girls,
okay,
yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying, even if it was a boy, maybe I would have had a relationship with him.
Nope. You ain't gonna be talking to him about me.
My son.
That's
if I
right.
had a son,
Well,
we don't have to worry about it unless you
no, we ain't got to worry about it.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Yeah, because God can do anything.
Yeah, he can, but I don't think that's in his plans.
You hope it's not in his plans. So, yeah, I have my girls, and they're like, there are some that are really, really best friends to me. But it's a whole different kind of, just like it's a whole different love that you have for your husband and your children. It's a whole different kind of relationship. My girl, what? Oh, I'm doing the table again. It's a whole different thing that I can talk to my girls with, because I can talk to them about you if I wanted to, and I feel, and I can trust them to, understand or keep it a secret, or some things as a woman that you may not know how to, talk to me about. So it's good to have my girls, and I have some best girls, my best girlfriends, and they're my friends. But as far as the opposite sex, they're women. But as far as the opposite sex, yeah, I think that it has to be me and you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
You ain't talking about me, hey?
Huh? Have I talked to anybody about you? Next question.
I don't personally think so. I think that, I think that a friend is a friend. You have your best friends or your closer friends. I guess it does mean the terminology is different. But anyway, I say that because the people I consider my best friends are all males, actually. They're the ones that, I feel like they're almost like brothers, and I know that, I can ask them about anything, talk about anything. I mentioned a minute ago, texting at certain hours. I can text them anytime, in the middle of the night. It just, it's I think it's a little different there. But I don't think that putting the title best friend makes it any deeper, is I guess what I'm saying. I think I treat all my friends, like best friends. I don't know. Yeah.
So I'm going to differ, because I do think that a best friend is different from just a friend. And I say that because a best friend, they have more access to you, and they have a deeper connection with you in terms of knowing your more intimate details of your life. So they are more in tune with like your secrets or your emotions or your thoughts. And so I do think that a best friend is different from just a friend. And so, like, in my kind of perspective, before I met Brandon, I will say that I had some guys that I considered to be my best friends. And as our relationship grew, as our dynamics changed and we became engaged and then married, there was a level of distancing that had to occur, just natural distancing, and new boundaries that had to occur to honor our newly found relationship, but then to honor the fact that we were friends, best friends, and transitioning to a more kind of like just a friend kind of status. And so I think that, again, there's a difference. And I think that as your, like, a relationship is built or created and gets more serious, there's a natural distancing that has to occur, because they don't get privy, or they don't get that more intimate information. That information is now shared with my spouse or my best friends that are females. So I think that I got a little bit of a different perspective on that one. But I do think that there's definitely a difference. And I think that how you manage it really determines a lot. Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you answer first. So if I came home and I said, Eric, I have a new friend and his name is, give me a name, but you think it's a real person. Who?
I don't know.
Okay, do you really?
I can't think of that.
I have a new friend and his name is not just Gilmore, but he suggested Happy Gilmore. Because he really does not want this to be a real person. That's what I'm assuming. So what if I came home and said, I have a new friend and his name is Gilmore. He's going to be joining us for dinner.
Oh, yeah. You better be a little baby.
Baby Gilmore.
Yep. A little infant. That's about it.
So I mean, it's just a new friend, not even a new best friend.
No, I mean, but yeah, when you say friends, I mean, I'm assuming, we're assuming again, when you say call somebody a friend, that means that's somebody that you've been having dealings with enough to call them a friend.
Yeah,
okay?
and form a relationship.
Yeah, form a relationship. And if I don't know anything about it, that means that's like you doing something behind my back that you felt
He's
enough.
Scary.
No, I'm just saying though. It's just, if you felt enough for you not to mention this person, that means that you've been trying to hide it until you said y'all was friends or whatever. I mean, 'cause you just don't call everybody a friend. You can say I met somebody at work today or something like that. Gilmore seems like a nice person. Then I know what's going on from the beginning. But you come in saying, this is my friend. I mean, this y'all been friendly for a long time. So, I don't know.
I all I can think about is once I surprised Eric for our wedding anniversary, one of our wedding anniversaries, and I had someone come over that I had met through some of my law colleagues, and he was a chef, and we had him do like a dinner for two. I was really excited. I had laid Eric's clothes out so he could dress up, and we dressed or whatever. And so this guy, I think his name was Bobby, was in our house, and he had on his chef outfit, and it was just like so nice. I was really excited about that, something different. And so, I introduced them or whatever. And, he was decent with him, but I could feel some tension. So as soon as we got back in the room for us to change clothes while Bobby cooked, Eric was like, so what's up with this man in my house? Like, why is this man in my house? And he really took issue with Bobby. I had a lot. He wasn't even my friend. He was the one that was going to be serving or whatever. But Eric, it was very difficult for him to get over that there was even a man doing business, for us in our house. So I know that he would take issue with a friend because he took an issue with Bobby. Yeah. So anyway,
nothing about Bobby.
He knew nothing about Bobby, but it was a surprise. It was a
I should
surprise.
at least known Bobby did that, and then it still could have been a surprise. So that means you and Bobby been talking for a while.
No, I met him at another law office. He was doing catering, and this was one of the things on his cards that he does dinner for two. And I was like, yeah, this is something I can surprise Eric with. But that didn't go well, at least in the beginning. But he found out Bobby could cook. He was like, what's up, Bobby? When you coming back?
We boys now.
Yeah, they boys. Yeah, no, he really hasn't invited Bobby back. I'm being honest. He has not invited Bobby back. Bobby has never been back. But anyway, yeah, so I knew his answer before because of what happened to poor Bobby. Man. As far as me, if Eric came home and said, I have a new friend named Bertha May. I'm saying an old person, so I won't feel like it's a lot of competition. Bertha May, because they don't make a lot of those anymore. What were you going to say?
It might be a cougar.
Which is why.
A cougar at my age means you at the end of your rope.
So, Eric... If Eric came home and said, you have to know Eric. Eric has some friends, and the friends he has, like I said, they're mutual people that we hang out with and really love. But he is not like the people person like I am. So it would be really, really odd for my husband to bring somebody around and say, this is my new friend. I would have so many questions like, where did she come from? And I probably would ask her, like, where did you come from? Like, yeah, it would be really, it would be less odd for me to bring, but I wouldn't, and I haven't either, but it would be less odd for me who just loves people, period. And as a pastor, as a lawyer, I develop all these relationships and stuff, and I do tend to attach to people and really love them. It would be less odd for me, even though I don't think that I've even done that. So it would be even less odd, even more odd. It would be more and more odd for my husband, the husband I know, to bring home a woman and say this is a friend. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
I'll say, I don't have a problem with opposite sex friendships, but if it came out the blue, if it wasn't someone that Brandon had already introduced me to, and this happened like tomorrow, I would probably not be feeling it. I am your friend.
Right.
I'm your only friend.
Right. Yeah, it's the same thing. I guess it would just kind of be like, how'd y'all meet? If it just came out of just randomly out of the blue. If it's somebody you haven't, or I haven't heard about, it's gonna be curious. Like, where did this person come from?
Yeah, I have a lot of questions.
And then we definitely had to link up and see, what's your interest in being friends with, my married, with my wife, basically, or a married person in general. I guess
we could all go together.
We could all go together.
So.
And then I guess that would determine whether or not what that person's true intentions were. So if they say, well, nah, this was kind of, then it's kind of like, all right, yeah, nah. I doubt that would really work for me. Well, I know that really wouldn't work for me. So, yeah.
I would not like that.
Yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah, so I'm glad
if we didn't meet the friend together, then that's not possible.
No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am. No ma'am.
Well, we are on the same page. What about that?
Exactly.
As long as I get to meet them, I wouldn't care.
Yeah. I mean,
as long as we have an open communication and I know what's going on, I'm cool with it.
yeah, I mean, as long as you told me. I think it would be more of an issue if you were just like, hey, I'm going to hang out with my new friend, and I didn't know they were of the opposite sex. Then that would be an issue.
Right, yeah.
Because, like, you purposely hid it.
Yeah, that's something that needs to be
Stated up
visible,
front.
yeah.
Yeah.
If my spouse came home and said, I have a new friend, I would probably say, no, you have a new acquaintance. Not a new friend yet. It's all about timing for me. A friend just can't pop up and be a friend whenever. A friend is something that develops with trust. You can't just call anybody your friend, which I think this is where it comes in about best friends and opposite sex friends. Friends don't cross lines. They keep things respectful. And if you're just meeting someone and you're saying, hey, I met a new friend, that person probably has been around either for a while and you're just bringing them around, or they're just an acquaintance. They're not really a friend, and just try not to throw the term so loosely.
And I know a lot of these questions are about the opposite sex, but it kind of would be weird if I would tell her, like, hey, I've got a new buddy who met, we met on a work trip or something like that. Even if it's the same sex, opposite sex, it's just weird just randomly having a friend pop up. So I would say 100% of my friends are friends that I have known for years. That friendship has developed. It's, like a strong friendship, so a legit friendship. Of course, we have acquaintances and things like that. But that's how it is.
How would you feel about that?
I mean, I would pretty much treat it the same way. I think that a friend is a friend, and I know that our dynamic is such that you would never do anything to compromise it, or put it at risk, or do any actions that would have me wondering or jealous. So for me, I would just kind of say, okay, and kind of keep it moving. I don't think it would raise any red flags or anything like that.
And I'm the same. I think that it's completely fine. I think that it is up to the person to determine where that is. Determine the boundaries. I'll say this because I know that I'm more a people person than Sabrian. So I joke and I laugh and talk to people. Even when we go to things for like her job or whatever, we would go to events. I do a lot of the talking just because that's just my personality. But so people may be drawn to that, and so you have to make sure that they know where the boundary is, you know. I'm always mentioning something about my wife or, you know, whatever, but just making sure people know where the boundary is. So I don't think that I would have an issue with it because I know that she's doing the same thing. She's gonna, you know, we have rings on and we always, you know, are talking about each other or what we've done at the house or whatever. So it's just, you know, being able to set those boundaries is what's important. So as long as we are, you know, on the same page there, then I wouldn't have an issue with it.
How would you feel about that?
I would feel okay because you just told me you had a new friend. If you didn't tell me you had a friend, that would be a different story. But you told me you had a friend, so I'm okay with that. Your friend is my friend, and my friend should be your friend.
Okay.
Okay.
I think it's fine because I think openness and good communication is the key anyway. Whether it's with friends or whatever, with marriage, I think the communication, as long as you're communicating, then that's going to be most of the battle. So if you have a new friend and have to be male, I'm not insecure that I'm thinking that, you know, or threatened by somebody, you have another male friend. I'm not. I got confidence in me. You know,
oh my God.
That's pretty much it overall. Just making sure that, you know, you set the boundaries and you have respect for your spouse. You know that, you know, you wouldn't have got into a marriage if you didn't love that person, you didn't care about their feelings, and so you wouldn't go out and do things that, you know, hurt them. Yeah. Right.
So it really just depends on what your definition of a friend is. We have two different definitions of what friends are and what you do with, you know, your best friend or your friends, and just that we just think it looks different for, you know, married couples and the priority. It's not really like high on our priority list.
Generally too, you know, generally speaking from a married standpoint, they say that your spouse is your best friend. So it's kind of like, again, going back to, I don't know. To me, it'd be hard to distinguish the ranking order of best friends. So like, how would I put my quote unquote third party best friend ahead of my best friend that I live with, married with, you know? So yeah.
That's it.
Thank you.